For some, a last chance. In a test of skill, a game of luck. Most importantly, a race against time. This is the 1999 Kmart Bassmaster Megabucks, and there's a lot at stake. It's the last chance to qualify for the Bassmasters Classic. The Angler of the Year will be determined here. But they don't call it Megabucks for nothing. Up for grabs, a total purse of $621,000 and a whopping $125,000 first place prize. The battlefield for this prestigious event is Old Hickory Lake, a 22,000-acre impoundment on the outskirts of Nashville, Tennessee, the country music capital of the world. Anglers have spent the past 3 days using every trick in the book to outsmart enough bass to qualify for the final 2 days of this exciting tournament. When Bassmasters returns, learn the strategies, techniques, and tips from the pros that two-step into the final round. We'll find out who'll sing the blues and head home.
The Bass Anglers Sportsman Society presents the Bassmaster Tournament Trail.
Welcome back to the Kmart Bassmaster Megabucks Tournament. After 3 days of intense competition, we've narrowed our field of 150 of the best bass pros down to 10. Finishing first place is current Angler of the Year, Mark Davis, with a 3-day total of 33 pounds and 11 ounces. Georgia's Danny Kirk follows in second place with 27 pounds, 14 ounces. Four-time Megabucks champion Larry Nixon places third. Fourth place angler is former Angler of the Year, Davey Height of South Carolina. Rounding out the top 5 is four-time Megabucks qualifier Kevin Van Dam. Texan David Wharton takes the 6th position, followed by 7th place angler Ray Sedgwick. Known as the Clint Eastwood of the circuit, Ron Sheffield makes an incredible comeback from 121st place on Monday to take the 8th place position on day 3. Wagoner, Oklahoma's Tommy Biffle slides into 9th, while rising young star Clark Wendlandt squeezes by 1 ounce into the 10th position and completes the field. And there you have it. The final 10 pros will now wipe the slate clean and start with an equal chance at the $125,000 first place prize. Imagine choosing any creek branch on a major impoundment. Draw an invisible line down the center of it. Divide one bank into 5 sections, and then do the same on the other side. You've just designed a Kmart Bassmaster Megabucks final course. Now, naturally, some of these holes are better than others, and some are more affected by the time of day, weather, or boat traffic. Not to mention the pressure from 10 of the best pros in the country. Each day, the pros will draw for a particular starting hole, where they'll be allowed 50 minutes per hole. 50 minutes. Not much time to figure out a pattern on a body of water off limits during the first 3 days.
Fish. By the time you find a place that you might catch one, you got to go to the next hole.
Not only are they fishing against an ever-ticking clock, but also they'll rotate into each new area knowing the water has been pounded by the pro before him. The rules are simple. Start in your drawn hole number. Weigh in only 5 bass, at least 12 inches in length. A fish shorter than 12 inches results in losing that fish and 1 pound from your day's existing total. A penalty of 4 ounces per dead fish will also be deducted. Other than that, it's fish for 50 minutes and then move on to the next hole. Throughout our show today, we'll catch up with some of our Megabucks finalists and find out their strategies and see if their strategy is working. With bass in a transition after the spawn, anglers will have a range of tactics to choose from. However, a wrong choice can be a costly one.
Had to be one on that old stump.
Mark Davis got to this stage with a deeper crankbait pattern on the main lake. But with little time to seek underwater structure, he faces the risky strategy of abandoning the pattern that brought him to the finals. He's not as confident fishing visible cover, especially after it's been picked over by expert shallow water fishermen. Yet, Davis was never behind any of these other finalists during the qualifying round. On day 2, he took an impressive lead into first place with an extra 4 pounds. Then on day 3, this 2-time Angler of the Year extended his lead even further to dominate the rest of the field.
There's still a few fish probably on the beds, or at least they're guarding around beds where they have been on the bed. You can catch them with a floating worm. And that's my approach right now. Then as the day goes on, we'll just have to play it by ear and kind of see what happens. And I'll probably change and move out deeper and fish more like the way I've been fishing.
While Davis qualified at number 1 with 6 pounds to spare, Clark Wendland qualified at 10th by 1 tiny ounce. Fortunately for him, the finalists all started even this morning, but he's among the first to change that situation. On day 4 of this tournament last year, Ron Sheffield was in first, so this format and Drake's Creek both suit the fishing style of this 15-year Bassmaster pro.
About time to catch the dice on.
Texas angler David Wharton is painfully aware of the short fish rule. He's on fish, but they're not going into the live well. The day starts partly cloudy with no breeze, but soon the lake is enveloped in a thick fog. For some, the fog doesn't seem to hinder their fishing.
That'll work.
Feels good to be back in the top 10 of Megabucks. This is the 3rd time I've been able to qualify for the final 2 days. It's great to be here. Besides that, I need to do well in this term to make the Classic, so I had double pressure this week, and luckily things worked out.
Mark Davis has moved offshore to try and catch bass on the same crankbait pattern he used to get to the finals. Having to share relatively shallow spots quickly is a situation where Kevin Van Dam excels. He's catching a lot of fish and pacing himself through the holes with time checks every 10 minutes from his observer sharing his boat. The next challenge is to add some quality bass to the quantity. Kevin Van Dam arrived at Old Hickory Lake leading the Angler of the Year race with the same consistency that's brought him to 8 Bassmaster Classics in as many years. Van Dam stayed in the top 10 during the entire qualification phase, improving his position every day. In the process, he won his 3rd Angler of the Year title. What other fishing legend has earned more Angler of the Year titles than Kevin Van Dam? The answer when we return.